Welcome to the MMA Roadshow, episode number 351. My name is John Morgan. Cold coffee is with me to a degree. This is the COVID-19 positive edition of the MMA Roadshow.
We're positively positive I'm probably COVID-19 positive.
Well, listen, I had my bout a few months back. Maybe it's your time.
I think, and honestly, the symptoms of a flu and COVID are so close. I just think it's the end of the year cold flu, man. Like body shakes, muscle aches, but my muscles are fucking like stiff neck. I feel like dog shit right now.
All right.
It's just like, it's so funny. We're sitting here and John's finishing like a story and stuff, and I'm just like, can we start? Can we start? Can we start? I was like, I might fall over and pass out here at the bar. So I apologize in advance of anything I say that's maybe inappropriate, uneducated, slimy, sleazy, cheesy.
You can blame all that on COVID-19?
I am right now. FYI, this is the new bulletin straight from the people that do COVID bulletins.
So is that what it says?
This is from Fauci.
So ridiculous. Well, listen, hopefully it is just a flu. I mean, hopefully it is just a flu. I guess you got to go test just to make sure.
You know, I'm gonna do the thing. I mean, I think we're so the resources are so crazy tasked. Luckily, it's the UFC, so they got to test out the yin yang. I'm off tomorrow.
They might make you pay for it yourself.
So yeah. I know, right? I'm going to stay home tomorrow, and I'm going to gauge and see how I feel. If the symptoms get worse, or if it feels like, I have no sore throat.
Right.
I just got an annoying fucking cough that keeps coming up, and it's just the muscle aches and a giant fucking headache. It just literally feels like it could be the end of the year
flu,
cold,
right?
Or a flu,
And that's what's crazy nowadays, right? You just gotta, you don't know, and now every time you think it's, is it COVID?
Yeah, and luckily tomorrow with the schedule, we're able to kind of I'm able to stay home. I'm able to just do whatever. And even today, we considered like doing this whatever. But you're like, it's not like I'm swapping spit and throwing whatever at you or whatever.
Plus, bro, I got antibodies.
You got antibodies.
I'm good.
You're good. You're good. I'm pretty sure that the time that you got it, I'm pretty sure I got hit as well. But don't judge me. I was feeling a little iffy. I had a little sore throat, but I was like, dude, if I go get tested positive, I was like, we're not going to have coverage.
Are you serious?
I was like, Junkie, don't do that.
I didn't know that.
Covers.
I did not know that.
That I had a sore throat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a sore throat, and I was just like, but it was like, I was like, should I go? And I was like, I don't want to be one of these guys that just immediately was like, I feel ill. Let me go rush and think that the sky is falling.
Yeah. I literally went just so I could get proof that I didn't have it.
You didn't even really feel that bad.
I was just like, I want to make sure. Peace of mind.
Yeah, honestly, in 2 days, all the symptoms were gone. So I was like, the vaccine did what it was supposed to do or whatever. So I'm hoping tomorrow with just rest and sleep, maybe some soup and just chilling at the house, I'll feel fine for Friday. But if I feel worse, then I'll go get tested just because, I don't want to be just blatantly, throwing it out there or whatever. But, honestly, I don't go anywhere. I'm the most homebody motherfucker there is. Ever since they developed the I'm going to bring you groceries to your house, I barely even go to the store. I mean, I go to the UFC to work, and then I go home.
Love it.
I'm very excited.
Love it.
I'm very excited. You want to live in Vegas and be high rolling? Here you go.
That's hilarious. All right, well, listen, it is a special, once again, I don't think a special one. I think this is the new night. I love Wednesday nights. I love Wednesday nights because, we just, we wrap up media day at the UFC Apex. Yep. We roll right over here to Sierra Gold.
Only 12 people today?
Not bad.
Not 16 or 18.
Not 18. 12 is reasonable. We got through there, but we come right over here. We sit down, we grab a frosty beverage, and we do it. So I'm kind of like this. Once again, it was kind of necessary this week. Tomorrow morning, actually at 7 a.m., I'm flying out to Atlantic City for CFFC 104. So hopefully if you're ready for some MMA this weekend, you at least throw that on your schedule for Friday night. We got a great card over there at CFFC 104. But I'm digging these new Wednesday nights, man. I think that's you know what?
It's what the fans.
I mean, I'm sure we have to consult the board of directors.
Yes.
I'm sure there has to be an official,
because there's billboards on the strip they got to take down. I'm sure that there was.
Didn't even think the marketing department is really going to be frustrated
all
with
the
us.
emails, those blast emails that get sent around the world. That clearly detail every day.
I can't see that the operations team would be that affected by it.
They roll with the punches. mean, I pay them so well that they're top notch.
Yeah.
I mean, they can just pivot on a dime.
Really, just the marketing people that we didn't probably give them proper lead time. They're the ones going to be most affected.
You know, they're the ones that you never really see. There's so many. They have a whole building that we just never make it over to that building.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Well, look, guys, if the team's listening right now, we maybe jumped the gun on this. I want to apologize to the marketing team at whole. And you know what? The Christmas bonuses will reflect the extra work that this is going to cost you. And thank you.
That's it.
Thank you for your flexibility.
That's it. You know.
We'll have Kid Rock come play our part. I'll get Kid Rock in for the Christmas party.
Kid Rick or something, his cousin or something.
Did you get any reviews of the Kid Rick?
You know, everybody that I asked had the same sort of like response I did, where I was like, man, that's pretty cool that he played. I was like, I think I know 2 songs. I was like,
no, I bet you know more. You think you know 2 Kid Rock songs.
But I'm like, maybe I can't. I know one of them that I was gonna say is the one with Sheryl Crow, and I guarantee he didn't play that one.
Didn't play that one.
You know, but still, it's
Who
still
knows?
Kid Rock.
Maybe he pulled somebody from the audience and got him.
I mean, I know he did like that. My name is.
Oh, you have. I mean, you probably open with that.
One. I mean, like I can just imagine like the curtain dropping or whatever. That was what the cool thing about back in the day. And that's what I tried asking one of the staffers today. I was like, did somebody let it out of the bag? Did somebody let the cat out of the bag? Did you know you were getting Kid Rock before? Back in the day, we didn't know who it was. So when we showed up at the party, we were like anticipation, like who's it going to be? We would roll in, then there were giant sheets and giant drapes that were covering the stage. We didn't know. Funny enough, the year that Snoop played, the weed made it to the front well before he ever actually.
Is it Snoop?
Well before they ever actually dropped the curtain. I think we all had contact buzzes. But when they dropped it and there was the reveal, it was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. That I guarantee that same thing happened for everybody the other night as well. I mean, it's still Kid Rock. It's like, that's huge. I mean, I'm sure they spent some decent money, but a lot of the people were like, oh, man, it was cool hearing him. He actually sounded good. But, you know, as he was playing music, I went off to, like, the whiskey room. They had, like, a whiskey room with, like, a cigars or something. So I saw dudes, like, you know, showing pictures of cigars, which is cigar smoke carries through.
Was it at the Apex?
Everywhere. It was at the Apex.
And people were smoking cigars, you think, in the Apex?
Probably up in the VIP room or in another different room. Because when we did the last event there, when I was breaking down my stuff, I looked around the corner and someone was like, oh, yeah, they pulled out the Octagon. I was like, why'd they pull out the Octagon? They're like, oh, they're setting up the stage for the concert. And I was like, oh, shit. So they're doing it here. I was like, I mean, that's one of those things that, you know, you can't even fathom. It's not like Dana and them when they got it. It was always about getting something they could set up their own production. They could put on these events, save so much money. Now the fact that they're not renting out halls at the Red Rock casinos, they're not paying all these other things. They're just paying for catering. They were able to set it up, do it in their own property, and probably got to get a hell of a lot funkier than what they did at the Red Rock because they were at their own property. Mm-hmm. Even at the Red Rock, when you're in the rooms, you can get a little crazy. But even when you're in the bars or whatever, people got pretty wild and people are doing whatever. But you were still in somebody else's establishment.
Right.
You know, so the fact that they were at their work or whatever, I can see where some might be like, I work every day there. The last thing I want to do is go have a party there. But if you knew that you were able to kind of just let loose 1,000% open bar, Kid Rock's on the, you know, jamming on the stage. You got food, you got good food, and they usually always have great catered food, at least when it was at the Red Rock. So I imagine they still had great catering. I doubt they had the kitchen staff just put stuff together. As good as they are, I bet they catered it.
You think it was like every media meal we've ever had? They had all those.
Today's media meal was the leftover beef and broccoli that they served at the holiday meal. But everybody seemed to enjoy it, man. I was jelly. I'm not gonna lie. You know, I saw pics of it and I was like, oh man. I was a little jealous, you know, but I was happy that they were getting back to a sense of what it was before. Like for many years, they stopped doing the live concerts.
It's been a while, right?
A long time. You know, they were doing like, hey guys, we're doing bowling night and we're doing whatever, which is cool and it's fine. But when you go from fucking Kid Rock, you know, go for Snoop Dogg, and then you got Chili Pepper the next year, and then it's like, oh, we're supposed to have No Doubt and Gwen Stefani, and then it's like, oh, well, we can't have them right now. She's pregnant or blah, 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 and then it was just like, nobody. And then they had that blues musician whose name is escaping me right now. People said they liked it, but it was another friend of Dana's. I mean, these are people that are friends of Dana.
Yeah.
Dana reaches out and does whatever, and he's able to get them. So it's not like they voted on, hey, guys, who do you want to play the party? It's like, who has the connections with Dana, but they're always solid performers. But
Right.
everybody seemed to make it like they had a great time. But yeah, good for them. I mean, like Dana, if anything, if there was ever a signal to what Dana said at the press conference the other day when somebody asked him, look at the year in review. How was this year for the UFC? And he was like,
Record year.
Record year. Better than ever. And if there was anything to sort of prove that,
Yeah.
look at the holiday party. They started spending again at the holiday party. They brought a huge artist out to enjoy all the hard work that they did, you know. And as much as some people might say, "Oh, what's that for the fighters?" Blah, blah. It's a totally different thing,
It's a different side of the business.
It's a different side of the business. Let the staff that gets so overworked and just underpaid and undervalued, let them have their one night that they can just, beat their chest. Let's fucking go and
Who would do that?
Yeah, I know, right? And have their moment. And everybody seemed to be really, really happy with it. So I'm super, super stoked that they had a great year, that they could bring that back. That was one of the best memories I had of working at the UFC, because my first year when I started working there I started the middle of the year, and the holiday party was like 3 or 4 months later, and I was like, oh my God, this company is insane. I started working at it, and 5 months later, I'm seeing Snoop Dogg
You're
on
like,
stage.
what have I gotten myself into?
This is pretty
Like your
cool.
first event, Rampage slaps you in the face. Your first Christmas party. You're like, what is this company that I'm a part of?
So good on them. As much as people, gripe about the pay and do other stuff, they have some of the hardest working staff members.
Yeah.
I appreciate so much what those guys do, and they try to do it with as much as a smile as they can in an environment that is very, very tough and very, very demanding.
A lot of thankless work,
so much,
and a lot of work. And you're right, man. It's round the clock for these people, man.
They all wear multiple hats too. It's like your job might be like, oh, you have to do this, but it's like, oh, we have this need over here, but hey, the broadcast is going. We have to get this done. Like, you're like, oh, well, I want to go home and spend time with the family. We have a deadline. You're like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to see my family tonight, And that's just kind of the culture. Is that good? No, but is that something
tough, right?
that exists in this world? It does. You
end up burning through some people, but it's it's cool. Like you said, it's cool that they get treated VIP. They get the royalty treatment and want. So, well, listen. While we're talking about that, it's fun. It's funny. You mentioned before we sat down and start recording, I was working on a story, and it kind of relates to this in an indirect way, because a big story over the last couple of days was that the UFC was going to make the athletes and the corners pay for their own COVID tests. And of course, it was Ariel Helwani who put out that initial report. The UFC has since issued an official policy, literally just minutes ago, that said that's not the case, and actually kind of went out of their way to label the reports incorrect and irresponsible. So, and Ariel, to his credit, came back and said, no, it's not incorrect, irresponsible. I have proof that this is what was going on. I will say this,
and it might have been for some.
Here's what I think kind of happened. Here's what I think kind of happened. And I talked to some people behind the scenes. Here's what I guess happened. And of course, we know Ariel as a reporter. He's going to stand by his word, and he's he understands the type of information you need to get. It's not like he's out there just irresponsible.
His sources are pretty darn.
His sources are pretty good.
Yeah, pretty reputable.
Here's what I think happened. Again, this is me guessing, but here's what I think happened. This week's fighters were the first week's fighters that were asked to go get the tests on their own. Okay, so UFC Fight Night 199, Lewis versus Dawkins, which we'll talk about in just a minute. These were the first group of athletes that were asked to go get their own testing.
Was it everybody or just the unvaccinated?
Everybody. No, it's everybody. Yeah, so we speculated that maybe because, that was when I initially saw that report, that was my initial speculation too. So for people that don't know, and I'm sure this is happening all over the country, but here in Las Vegas, the major hotels are saying, look, we can't require our employees to be vaccinated, but here's what we're saying. If you're not vaccinated, you got to go get tested every single week, and it's on you to pay for it. And so what happens? The employees go, well, I'm not going to do that, so I'll go get vaccinated. So that's when the first report, when the report first came out, that's what I thought. I was like, ooh, I bet it's for the unvaccinated people, and that's the way the UFC. No, that's not the case. It's for everybody, okay? But here's what I think happened is so up till now, the UFC has been shipping tests to all the athletes so that they can take it themselves, ship it back in, get it all done, and that's how it gets cleared, right? And the thinking behind that was we'll make it as easy on the athletes as we can, because you'll remember at first it was kind of tough to get tests in some places. Well, now it's pretty easy to get tests anywhere. And in fact,
and that process seems completely foolproof. You know, just sending tests to
Well, that's
fighters.
the other thing. I'll be honest with you. Those in-home tests. Are you, dude? Are you? If you gave me a swab and told me you stick it up my nose, bro, it's touching like maybe the bridge.
Because I got two different ways. Like when everybody was talking about the nasal test, I was so fearful of getting the nasal test. And one of the first times I had a nasal test, I swear to God, I was like, did she even really enter the nasal cavity? It was just like right on the inside. She was like, blow your nose so you get a little bit of your goo in there or whatever. And I was like, okay, maybe that's the kicker.
Right.
As long as they're getting pay dirt, maybe you don't need to go further down into the throat, if they're making you clear that stuff up. Because if your nose is completely dry and you're just swabbing right in that area, while it's much more pleasant than sticking it down the back of your throat, you're not going to get what you need to test or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, when I got my first nasal test, I was like, why was everybody bitching about it? I was like, that was nothing. And then I realized, I didn't get to the same degree that the first wave of people where they were gagging. Like, I watched your video. I watched Adam Hill's video. I watched all these videos, and I was like, dude, I'm never going to test that way. I don't ever want to do that. I hate
that Jacksonville one, man. That messed me up. So you're right about that. So I've always wondered about these home tests, how good they could be anyway. Yeah. That, to me, is not why they did this. But from my understanding, is basically what happened was the people that I talked to said, look, it is so low cost now. There's some places right now you can go get it for free. Yeah. You know what I mean? So they're like,
CVS pharmacies.
It's so easy. They're like, it's just much easier to just have the athletes go get the test and send it in. But it was never going to be costing. But here's what I think happened. From what I was told, the UFC never intended for the fighters to be out of pocket for it. I mean, if you think about the millions of dollars that they've already invested at this point, what do you think they're trying to save? $50? Come on, what are they going to save per card? But what happened was this was the first week of fighters, and I think what happened was somebody probably who is used to getting their test shipped to them was told to go get the test themselves, and they were like, "What? We're going to have to pay for testing now?" And maybe they talked to a medical coordinator, maybe they didn't. From what I understand, the policy literally just went out today.
Yeah.
So these athletes were being asked to do something.
Pay something up front even though they would get reimbursed.
But they didn't know they were going to be reimbursed because the policy was not distributed until today.
That makes a lot of sense.
So I think what happened was this was a work in progress and not all the communication necessarily got done. And so somebody went to Ariel, of course, and was like, you're not going to believe what they're making us do now. They're making us cover our own testing. It's like, no, hold on. We asked you to go do it this time. We fully intended to pay you back. Yeah. Obviously, all the on-site testing is still happening. The Residence Inn, the Holiday Inn, they're still doing. So all that stuff is still happening. So, and I don't want to make it seem like, because I'm not trying to bash Ariel. That's definitely not what I'm doing here. So I don't want to make it sound like that. I think what happened was whoever told him what was going on. Again, he says he has proof that that's not the case. But in talking to the people with the UFC, at least, I think maybe there was a bit of a miscommunication.
And there could have been like two drafts of a document that comes out and said this is how we're addressing it. And if the first draft that came out didn't properly state, hey, we will reimburse you or we will do whatever, maybe it was just initial like something that where maybe at the bottom it said contact us if you have questions.
Right.
And but all they read is like, oh, hey, we have to go get this test on our own and send the results in. Whereas if they call them, they say, oh, no, yes, sorry, yes, no, we're going to reimburse you for it. We just need you to go get the test. And maybe they send out a different document. So I could see where there could be a version where they're like, I have proof, I have this.
Right.
And it's like, well, dog, you got how many drafts of the fight card go out before it's done? Did you see the mistake on the fight card today?
No.
It had both of them listed at ESPN plus prelims.
Oh, they both said prelims.
And I was just like, oh, that's another draft.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I see it right here. In fact, I had the fight card in front of me. They both say prelims. Hey, there's no main card this week. Yay!
That's it. Yeah, easy night. But that's the thing. Like, drafts come and go. I mean, like, it just depends on which one. Like, if you take what you have in front of you as gospel, you could go online right now and say, I have documentation that says there is no ESPN Plus mains. I have the fight card.
Right.
Just two different levels of prelims. But they could say, well, no, that's not true.
It's just a typo or whatever.
It's just a typo, just whatever. I mean, who knows? I mean, like you said.
I just think it's easy. I think people jump on it right away because I saw everybody like, oh, my God, the UFC just said they had a record year, and now they're making athletes cover the cost of the test.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe that. But what I would say to people is sometimes when you read something that seems so ridiculous that you're like, how does that even make any sense? Maybe pause for a second and
dive
think,
a little further.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Something's not adding up here. This isn't making sense. And again, I'm not in any way am I trying to bash Ariel or say he got anything wrong. And if he says he has proof, then I'll believe him. He's obviously a very established reporter.
And that's the thing,
think there was some miscommunication along the line.
Because if you think about it, he's built for himself is great. The last thing he wants to do is go out and put false information and then put your name behind it. I'm sure for whatever he put out, he was completely 100% sure that what he was putting out was absolutely correct.
Right.
You know, things change. We put stuff out sometimes, and then you have to do a correction. You know, like, it happens. I doubt there was any sort of, if it was incorrect at the time, I doubt there was any sort of malicious intent or any sort of, you know, subversive tactic that he's trying to, like, I'm going to get this out and I just want people to talk about it or whatever. Like, that's not, I've never known Ariel to be that way.
Yep.
I guarantee what he did was what he acted upon, the information that he had his hand at that time, and he believed it to be completely right, and it probably was at that time.
It's just, if you think about it, and I was told again, I was the folks I spoke to, and I spoke to a couple people at the UFC, said, look, there was never any intention of us passing the cost on to the athletes. And again, you know, somebody can sit back and be like, well, I don't trust the UFC, they're lying to you, and that's fine if you feel that way. But what I would say is, I mean, look at how much money we're talking about, okay?
Yeah.
Think about what we're talking about. $50 tests, that's where the UFC is going to cut money on? Like, come on, man. Like, that's – I mean, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that the PR hit from that would be, like, ridiculous, because it would look absolutely stupid if you're like, hey, you're required to have this test, by the way, but we're not paying. And I can tell you right now –
especially with Dana at the helm.
Like, when the report first came out, I reached out to PR, and I'll just say PR told me, like, I'll be honest with you, I have not heard this, but I will find out what's going on with you. So, I mean, again – I think it was a work in progress. I think it was a miscommunication. I know it's easy sometimes to villainize the UFC, but I don't think in this particular case that's exactly what was going on.
I agree with you 100%. And the thing is, like, and when I say, like, you know, as long as Dana's at the helm, like, Dana, you know, while he will come out and say, like, this is bullshit, this, of course he's never going to pass the buck on something like that to his fighters if he knows that this is what we're being asked by the state to put on an event. They want these tests. They want this, whatever. Of course we're going to take care of our fighters. That's what they've always done.
Right.
I mean, when it got to a point where they were putting no events, what did he do with his staff? He kept his whole staff, minus Fiasco Jones, on the books. He kept the whole staff
except for
one guy who happened to go on there and make a bad joke about another executive. Shh. That wasn't even a good joke. It was like whatever. It was like so lame, but whatever. Rehire Fiasco.
Pour one out for the homie.
Hashtag rehire Fiasco. He seems to be sort of higher. He seems to be happy where he's at. There was a
he didn't
media
get to the
creator.
Kid Rock concert, though.
That's true. I don't think Fiasco's a big Kid Rock person.
No, I can't see that.
I think Kid Rock's a little too happy for him. I think he'd be like, grunge it up or something. I mean, like, it's funny when Charlie was a baby, his kid, he was listening to, like, death metal and, like, stuff, and I'm just like, what are you doing to your fucking baby, Fiasco? Like, stop. He's gonna be just like you when he turns up.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants another Fiasco.
Oh my goodness. And
One
he's
Fiasco.
our friend. And he's
I love him.
friend.
I tease with him. I tease. But there was a position that opened up at MGM right now. I was asking for a video manager of something, and I was gonna fucking push it towards Fiasco. Like, dude, you should try to reach out, because casinos, man. Even though the MGM for a while there was hurting,
not now.
I think they're back on the men, man.
Casinos
so that's probably like a good deal. So
Casinos are crushing.
he wants to get out from underneath that fitness company.
I mean, right now he's working in his passion, so it's got to be difficult to walk away from it. You know what I mean? Like, you know our group of friends in fitness. I mean, all right, UFC Fight Night 199. I will not be there, of course, on Saturday night. You will. The young Mike Bond is with you as well. That is true. Will depend on how this test result comes back. You may or may not be there.
We're going to hope for the best.
We'll hope for the best. If not, it might be the young Mike Bond rolling video duties on his own.
Well, he'll at least be shooting. I'll still be doing it remotely or whatever, which is the great thing about this. Like, you know, because the great thing about this, like disease and other little stuff.
Please,
that's what
tell me the great thing
about
COVID-19.
Is that it's not completely debilitating. Like, we can actually be home and do the work that we need to. It's not like I need to be at least anywhere I'm feeling where. I mean, I'm not trying to lighten the thing. There are some serious cases where people are actually on.
So far, with the vaccine, it seems like for the most part,
most people can work from home and they're fine.
I could have worked. Like, when I was at home, and to be honest with you, I did work. The only days I had off were days I already had scheduled off.
Right.
You know, so
that's the worst case, is that, you know, the young Mike Bond might have to be back in the back with the other two media members.
Let me tell you something about Media Day today.
Let's talk.
At one point, there were 5 of us there, okay? Yeah. At one point, there were 5 of us. 3 of us worked for MMA Junkie. 3 of us worked for MMA Junkie.
That's the funniest part is like, because there's some media days, there's not even 5 media.
Right.
But the fact that there were 3 from one outlet today was pretty epic.
And
I was surprised.
at one point, they pulled Diego.
Yeah, Diego went
because
to go
he went to go in the back so that he could do his scrums in Portuguese because he works for a Portuguese language site.
Imagine that.
So then there were 4, and 3 of us worked for MMA Junkie. That was if there ever felt like a media day where it's just like, yo, this is the end of the year and we got like 3 weeks off coming up, it was today. It was today.
So funny, but we still brought it. You still brought it.
I tried.
Like every media, every fighter that came in there, none of them had on their face like, oh, this is what they have. The only person that kind of played around with it was Derek.
All right, so Derek, it actually ended up.
That was so much fun.
So if you want to go check out the Derek, I mean, obviously most people probably want to check out Derek anyway, but I did think Derek was in really good form today. Because you know what, I'll say this because he's always entertaining, but I think sometimes he doesn't really feel like giving answers, like so he just kind of like gives jokes. Today, I thought
we see that from a lot of fighters too, where they're like, ask me anything that's not fight related.
But today he was good. You know, he talked about the fact that, which I didn't realize this, and I remember. And maybe I missed it, but, you know, he was talking about the Cyril Gahn fight and how it was the 13-year anniversary to the day that he walked out of jail. Now, I do remember them.
That's crazy.
I do remember them playing packages before that fight about, like, you know, where he had come from and what he'd gone through.
Yeah.
But I don't know if anybody knew that was the 13-year anniversary because I don't remember hearing that. So
that's a huge.
That is huge
speaking point.
And he was saying, man, because I think we all felt that night, right, that he looked like he was feeling the pressure. Like we all said, like, but we thought it was, you know, title fight in front of his hometown in Houston. This isn't good. And he said today, no, it wasn't that. He's like, I want to keep fighting in Houston. I love Houston. It's my hometown. I want to keep fighting there. He's like, it was just that day. In my head, I was thinking, man, on the day I walked out of prison, on the anniversary of that, I could become a UFC champion. And, like, I imagine at that point, man, it just does weird things to your head. So he gave some great answers. So he really did give some thoughtful, insightful answers today. But there was one point where he was like, how many of y'all are there here? Because there was only, I think there were still 5 of us at that point. Maybe we were down to 4 at that point.
I think there were just 4 of us.
So we were just down to 4. So he was like, so we just started making jokes about, over to your left, down here in front, over to your right. You know what I mean? Like, and he was cracking up. So he was in good spirits. Derek was in good spirits today.
You guys should go back and listen to it. I mean, like he was definitely like, and I think that's one of the things. Like, I think people have gotten Derek on some fight weeks, and some people are like, oh, is he taking it serious? Is he whatever? I think if you're at that level, you need to do what you need to do to stay comfortable, stay easy. Like, if you know that you're going to have issues dealing with, like, even fight week stuff, here's another big week. It's not title implication, but it's still a main event. The pressure that he has to carry on it. So that means he's feeling at unease and he needs to make awkward jokes during the media day. That's fine. Like, that sounds completely normal to me. But I can see where some people are like, man, I just wish he would take fight week seriously. You know, and it's like, bro, if you're having millions of eyes look at you and you're feeling the pressure and you need to make an awkward fart joke about being on a plane, make the fart joke.
Which he did.
And it was fucking hilarious, you know. I love Derek. Listeners of the show know I've homered for Derek forever, and I'll continue homering until the end of my days or whatever. There's some people that when you reach a point where you vibe with the person, you get it, you know. Like, I've had the man over to like break bread at my house, you know, like, you know, he was like Heather's favorite like fighter.
Right.
So just like, this dude's in my heart. So like when he comes at the fight, I'm like, he can do no wrong. I'm like, dude, I love Derek. I was like, this one, I'm like, please let this be the fight that you get the shit righted, because he has a tough dude in front of him.
This is
but
a
I'm
tough
like,
one.
man, if you lose to a guy that is on his 6th fight, I'm like, what does that say when you were just fighting for the title, you know? And, you know, it gives me all the worries and all the feels. Like, I'm so happy to see him, but I'm so effing nervous for him because where he's at in his career, what this fight means for him.
Yeah.
I'm I'm a mess.
This is a tough one, man. This is a tough one. Obviously, look, for me, I'm very torn. Obviously, Texan and Derek Lewis, obviously, always been good to us, man. And early in his career, when we really kind of latched on to him, he took us out to eat crawfish, and he's always been good to us.
Was it Mike's?
Yeah, Mike's Seafood, man. he's always been good to us. Then meanwhile, Chris Dawkins, obviously a CFFC champ. I'm tied to anybody that comes out of that organization because I've seen them rise. I mean, when you see people go from the regional level trying to make it to fighting in a UFC main event, and this dude has done it so fast, it's amazing. And a stylistic matchup that's difficult, right? Because any heavyweight has heavy hands. Now Derek has the heaviest of heavy hands, but Chris can hurt you with his hands,
and he hasn't taken damage over all these years. He hasn't taken the damage,
right?
So you figure that his chin's still there.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing you need with these big boys.
And Chris has grappling too, man, and that's scary.
It's a scary match.
It's a scary
really
matchup. To be honest with you, I've still got to turn in my picks. Let's not talk about picks.
You had to turn that in today.
Let's not talk about picks.
You had to turn that in today.
Let's not talk about picks. I still got to send them in, but let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
You're lucky Matt Erickson's
still
getting back from vacation.
Let's not talk about picks. No, listen, my lead is down to 2.
Yeah.
Down to 2.
Has he turned in his picks?
I don't know. I didn't ask. Oh, that's not right for me to ask that.
That's how I fucked up this year because I was trying to battle with you and I fucked myself up.
No, so what we're doing.
Against
so here's what we do. This is what we always have done, and Matt sent it out that way too. So anytime there's a close battle where it can be decided on the final card, those 2 people send in their picks privately. So it's not on the group email anymore.
That didn't happen before.
No, it's always we've
I
always.
guess
done
I wasn't close when
we've
I won
always
it.
done
I
it.
done blown
We've always done it only if first place is up for grabs. If it's the difference between 4th and 7th or whatever, it doesn't matter. But if first place is up for grabs, we've always said you send in your picks privately. So I haven't sent my picks in. I got to send them in tonight. But yeah, I'm 2 ahead. I've never won. I've been second. I've been third. I've been obviously.
Pick it up, son.
I've been a part of this.
This podcast already has one championship. We need a second championship.
The real fight expert of our podcast is you, and I'm just trying to weasel in there.
I mean, when you're looking for stats, the little hidden knowledge of things, you
go to Cold Coffee.
I got you. I
tell you what, though, man. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm leaning towards Dawkins in this one because
and it's not
of
a
that.
bad play. It really,
because
really
of that,
isn't.
and I think he's actually the betting favorite as well. So it's not like I'm making some shocking revelation. But for Derek, I do look at this as it's not a bad spot because I mean, if you lose, it's not great. But the great thing about Derek is Derek is so popular.
Yeah,
and that. You can put him anywhere in the division. So if he loses, I don't think it totally screws him up.
One of the other guys that was very popular? Yoel Romero.
True.
And they got rid of him.
True.
But you're right. I think Derek definitely doesn't – I mean, maybe his popularity is so high. But, I mean, this is so dangerous for him. I mean, because you're right. I mean, Chris has the ground game. I mean, he's got a chin. He hasn't taken all the damage. He's got the people behind him as well. He was a cop. We just figured out in the press conference or the media day today that he's no longer a police officer because they wouldn't let him have the time to really take a leave of absence to focus
Can we just call out
me.
the Philly Police Department right now?
Philly, what are you doing?
I'm not going to call it any police. You know what? It must have been a very difficult decision for you, considering I'm flying there for the next 2 weeks.
Are you? Yeah.
You know what?
You're on the bad
Philadelphia's finest. I know it's difficult. Hey, listen, I know that Chris put you in an incredibly difficult position, the selfish bastard, but... No.
I mean, if you're in the need for police officers, why get rid of somebody that has 10 years of experience if he's willing to do what he needs to do, take a leave of absence, no pay, and then come back? And maybe it was the 6 months that he was asking for. Maybe that was maybe that broke the straw that broke the camel's back.
And
that
if you want to watch this, Chris talked about this today, too. He talked
about it in the presser. So go back and do it. And dude, it's just like... If there's anybody that needs our respect, obviously everybody loves Stipe. Stipe is a firefighter that helps out with that. Here's Chris, who's going out and he's a police officer. He's doing what he needs to do. We've had multiple people that have done careers sort of like that, but when it got to the point where it was the tipping point where it's like, am I going to go all in on my MMA career, or am I going to try to live in this world where I have a foot in both worlds? And at some point, you have to make that decision, And unfortunately for him, he felt that they pushed him in one particular direction, and he jumped all in. And what surprised me, and which blows my mind, and if any of you have any sort of connections to police offices, police foundations, whatever, so he's a 10-year veteran, And then for him to not do what they wanted to, they're making him go back to police academy.
Yeah, he said if he leaves and starts again, he has to go back to the academy. At least that in Philly.
He thinks that if he goes somewhere else, maybe somebody will take that experience. And how would you not take that experience? I mean, if somebody's got 10 years on the force, you don't just wash that away because you got pissy because he didn't want to, try to do both things. I mean, like, he's good enough.
Can you imagine, like, and I know he's a long way from this, but can you imagine, like, if he won the heavyweight title, right?
What he would bring to the...
You know what I mean? Yeah, and then...
Community liaison. Like, send him through the city to do whatever, and police whatever, and he can go to schools, he could do everything. It seems like a no-brainer to me. Like, I don't get it. And if you're that hurting for police officers... I mean, it can't be that a frequent request, right? It can't be like,
Bro, if we let you go fight in the UFC's heavyweight
division, George's over here. He's going for the unanimous, beer tossing something.
Can you imagine having that conversation? Like, bro, I mean, look, you're saying it's a special thing just for you, but I mean, really, like, everybody here could be fighting in the UFC
So-and-so's in the sack race this weekend at the state fair. Are you going to tell me that he can't train for 6 months? It just seems to me a no-brainer, and I'm sure they have their reasons or whatever. It just seems that was the biggest shocking thing that we heard, was that a guy here that was able to do both things, and I assume he did his job decent, to make it 10 years without them actually kicking him off the force. He must have been pretty competent, but to have him at the highest point of this career where you could bring millions and millions of eyeballs to your organization, why would you ever get rid of him?
I don't get it.
If there's a possibility you can not pay him and just let him go do his thing and then let him come back and work in some time, like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't get it. All right, big main event. I will say this for Derek. I mean, Derek did say, by the way, because I thought maybe after that last one, he'd say, I don't care about the title anymore. Like, no. He said, no, I want to chase the title. I want big fights. I want to get there eventually. So we'll see. And if he wins here, the good thing, his popularity, he's still right there in the mix.
Oh, yeah.
But meanwhile, Chris Daukaus, he wins here. Now you start talking about him with some very, very elite fighters. So big main event. I will definitely be tuned in. I think I fly home on Saturday, but I'll be home in time to watch that. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Co-main event, Wonder Boy, Stephen Thompson versus Belal Muhammad, I believe is how you say it now.
I thought you were saying Belal earlier.
Bilal, I think is how you're supposed to say it. Not Bilal. Look, I met him when he was on the regional stage.
Like, not Bilal.
That's right. I commentated his last fight for Titan FC before he got in the UFC. So from before he got in the UFC, I thought his name was Belal Muhammad.
Yeah.
He's never told me it's not Belal Muhammad, but I believe it's Bilal Muhammad.
Almost like it's Belau or something, Lao. Or Lao.
Yeah, that's probably a closer sound to it.
Or like Lao, because I know that's like a Chinese sound or something like that. The Lao.
I don't think he's Chinese.
Well, obviously not. I'm just seeing the letters in my head and how you would pronounce that thing. But yeah, he said that, and I was just like, wow, we're D-bags.
That's gonna mess with me though, man, because
he never corrected anybody.
I know.
That's like if we're blatantly calling you the wrong damn name, like, just say, guys. I keep winning. I'm back here. Let's do something for me. Let's go through the room. Say this after me. Just
Bilal.
make everybody say
Bilal?
it.
Bilal.
Bilal. Sabon.
Too good. Yeah, so anyway, I guess that's probably it. I'm intrigued by this one too.
That's a good fight.
I'm intrigued by this one too. This is another one that I'm gonna be honest with you. I still gotta send in my picks, and I don't know exactly what my pick's gonna be because Wonder Boy, I think it's easy to write him off. He's been around forever.
He
hasn't quite got
it.
But you can't write off the Wonder Man. You just can't, right?
He's so funny. He said, if Tenacious D comes up with a Wonder Man song, then maybe I'll change my name. Until then, it's Wonder Boy. Dude, how can you not have? How can you just not love his energy and his positivity? Like, even Blau was like, he's like, oh man, he's a terrible guy. He's just always out there talking stuff. And he's like, nah, I'm just kidding. He's like, dude, you're kind of a jerk. He didn't use that word, but he was like, you're kind of a jerk if you don't like this guy. I mean, he's literally one of the nicest guys, and like his style. If there's very few guys that we can point and look at and say, like, he just oozes traditional martial arts.
That's right.
And there's something so special about that. Like, a lot of these kids and a lot of the people that are coming up now started MMA. They're MMA fighters. They're very, very well across the whole things. He started Taekwondo and I'm sure karate and some other little stuff.
Of course, yep.
But it's just fantastic. And one of the best things that I took out of what he said today was that, he wanted to keep doing that. So even if he's in his 50s, even that just means that he's still doing martial arts and he's putting guys through his paces. And he's still doing his thing. He'll train forever. And, man, I mean, how can you not want to root for this guy? But, man, that is a tough fight. I don't want to poison your picks. I lean towards Blau on this one.
Yeah.
He's just so gritty and so tough. And, I mean, like, he's the kind of guy that he's going to walk forward. Steven needs distance to do what he needs to do.
Right.
And if Blau is not smart and rushes forward just trying to get his hands on him, Steven can catch him with something.
Right.
But if Blau's able to get in there and put his hands around him, he's just going to control him. He's just going to sort of manhandle him up against the cages. He's going to just wear the time away. And they only have 3 rounds to get this done.
And it's kind of like when you fight Wonder Boy, you kind of just got to understand that, like, the fight may be a little bit more boring than you want it to be, but, like, you don't want to get into striking exchanges with him, right? Like, nobody wants to go out there and just have a clinch fest against the cage for 3 rounds.
But if it works.
Yeah, if you know that's
especially
how you get done.
At this level here, where these guys are at and what they're trying to do, I think we've reached the point where it's like there should be no shame for a lot of these guys when they know that they're near the top and it's like, okay, I can do what got me here.
Right.
It might not be pretty, but it keeps me winning. It keeps me in the W column and it gets me one step closer to the title. Don't feel ashamed about that.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do. Do what got you there. Don't go out there and change your fighting style to make the guy in row B, section 232 up on the top who's losing his mind. Don't do it for him. Do what you did to get there.
I remember having that conversation this is years and years and years ago, actually, with Rashad Evans, and he was just saying, like, first of all,
I love Rashad.
You know, respect Rashad. First of all, he said, and it's so true. He's like, first of all, he's like, wrestling is a martial art. He was like, so the idea that wrestling is not a martial art, he's like, it is. He's like, second of all, he's like, if you don't like it, stop me.
Yeah.
Stop me.
Make me not do it.
I'm boring. Yeah. I'm just, and it's so true. Yeah.
Do something.
Stop me about it. All right, I'm torn on that one. I don't know where I'm going with that
one. It's not like anybody's looking at Khabib and say, Khabib, I'm not going to give you credit for that fight because you are so dominant holding me down.
I think what it is definitely like it's when it gets against the cage and it just stalls there. You know what I mean?
For 3 minutes.
Yeah, where it's not like, okay.
It's not a lot of advancing. There's maybe
Khabib's wrestling was fun, right? Because it was like push, rush, advance, dominate, crush,
smash the soul.
That's so true, so true. All right, as we continue to go on, Amanda Lemos versus I do want to say one thing about Bilal Muhammad.
We're probably still saying it wrong.
Totally, not even close. There's no way.
He's cringing somewhere.
He's like, can you just go back to Bilal? Can you just go back to Bilal? He's like, it bothered.
His name wrong. He's somewhere, and he's like, his nose is itching, his ears are burning. He's like, somebody's butchering my name.
He's like, just go with Bilal. It sounds way less stupid than what you're saying now. I do love the fact that, like, and maybe somebody else has done it, but I can't think about it. But going from Damian Maia to Stephen Thompson in consecutive fights, like the 2 most specialists in their field in that division.
Ends of the
that's
spectrum.
Pretty cool that he's doing that, man.
Dude, Blau is if you don't if you don't respect him for what he's trying to do, and the fighters that he's gone through. I mean, it's fantastic. But, yeah, I mean, these 2 previous opponents can be no further apart. I mean, granted, even though I will say a lot of people, just like he said, people were sleeping on Damian Maia's striking at the end of the day, but he got his shit together, you know. Is it striking like Wonder Boy Thompson? No. But still, they're 2 absolute extremes, and that's so crazy. I can see where some fighters might just be like, just put me against strikers. Put me against strikers. Let's make this a fast, like, fun, slam, rock'em, sock'em fight, And then when you see him get put against wrestler, and like, where I was like, is it striker versus wrestler? Oh, this could be boring. He's went against 2 guys that literally he has to have such a well-rounded skill set to be able to, win against these 2 guys that, I envy what he's able to do because he can't just be a great striker and go in there against Stephen Thompson. He's going to need to be able to do the whole thing and to be able to go in against Damian Maia. That Damian Maia is just a freaking jiu-jitsu. I love Damian Maia.
I do too. I miss that guy.
Like, props to what was that guy's name that did those cartoons? What was that called?
Tommy Toehold.
Tommy Toehold. Jiu-jitsu. Congrats on making a little meme video that I cannot get that shit out of my head. That's been years. But that jiu-jitsu one with Damian Bryant. No, he's doing like commentary or something.
Yeah.
He's doing
I used
something.
to watch those. Those are hilarious. Man.
Oh my God, it was his hard work. He did so good. But that jiu-jitsu one, oh my God!
I want to see.
This day, I cry when I hear it.
I'm hoping. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but Fury Pro Grappling obviously doing some big things. You see Rose Namajunas, Danielle Kelly. The rest of that card is going to be announced. I haven't even seen the whole card yet, but I heard it's 6. So I can't wait.
That's the one that's happening.
That's January. December 30th.
Oh, okay.
No, December 30th.
What's the thing that's happening tomorrow?
So the thing that's happening tomorrow is I think they're calling it the what's it called? The UFC Apex Classic or the UFC Fight Pass Classic or something. But it's basically
What's number 1?
Yeah, but it's basically like Quintet was, where it's a team grappling event, but it's LFA versus CFFC versus Fury FC versus James Krause's Fighting Lion Championship.
That's so cool.
It's very cool.
A unique idea.
It's very cool. I wish I was going to be there, but I
at least you can watch it on Fight Pass.
But I'm gonna watch it on Fight Pass. I'm excited.
So cool.
From what I understand, though, unfortunately, I think the LFA team is like just stacked. Like I only know 2 people that they have, but I know they have Rafael Lovato and Davi Ramos. And like, to be honest with you, like I don't think they need anybody else.
Yeah.
Like,
what team is Danielle Kelly on?
She's doing an individual match.
Oh, okay.
She's doing an individual match.
Such a stud.
I know.
Like Rose is, or that Rose one, man. Like she's got her hands full.
Yeah, that'll be on December 30th.
I mean, oh my Lord.
Yeah, Danielle Kelly's fighting tomorrow night and December 30th.
Is she really?
Yeah, she's doing both of them.
Who's she taking on tomorrow?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the matchup is tomorrow.
Man, she's a little badass. Man.
Yeah.
It's so. We talk a lot of times, as much as we talk about MMA and how you have to be well-rounded, there's something so spectacular about these specialists that are so finely tuned in one particular discipline, and they are literally just leaps and bounds above everybody else. I mean, and Danielle Kelly, I mean, she is just fantastic. The first time we saw her, was she at Quintet 3? One of the ones, but I couldn't remember she was on that, but I remember we saw her on different other ones. I think she was. And I remember I was like, oh, look at this, Or I remember there was some of the other ones I saw her. She took on Cavillo, just worked her.
Roxy,
which right there, I mean, like, if you don't think she's got skills, what she was able to do to Roxy, I mean, like, it's so fancy. It's like when you watch like Craig Jones and some of these other cats, where you're just like, what's the point of having the match? You just almost want to just give it up, but you're like, no, let's give him a chance. It's a grappler's chance, I guess.
I'm anxious for the Rose match. Like she's going up. I saw the other day. I think it's 128 pounds, where she usually fights at like 115.
No, are they going to do like that striking jiu-jitsu?
No.
What do they call it? Combat jiu-jitsu?
Yeah. We're not doing that. We're just just regular jiu-jitsu. But
Danielle Kelly's so fantastic,
she's
man.
Good.
But man, if Rose needed a little extra something, give her that little combat. Let her just bitch slap somebody. I think she would bitch slap me and knock me the fuck out. Honestly. She's. I love Rose. I bet Rose would knock me
I'm not arguing with you. I think she might.
You'd be like, "Go Coffee, you gonna get up?" I'm like, no, I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm
good.
Just put my grave marker right there.
Would you tap out? She didn't even have a.
Like they said her name and she smacked the fuck out of me, and I was waking up a week later.
Yeah, I mean, look. This is the final UFC event of the year, but we got some great grappling events to close this out. Yeah, Thursday night, UFC Fight Pass. I'll definitely be watching that one.
That should be cool.
Mark your calendars, December 30th. That'll be in Philadelphia. I like grappling, and I know some people might not have tuned into this, but when you get the crossover athletes, I think it's fun. When you have a Rose Namajunas, when you have
they love
Sean Brady's going to be on there, Kevin Holland's going to be on there. It's so fun, man.
As long as we don't get some, like when we saw Cub Swanson do Quintet 3. I know. I'm not trying to jinx it, but he fucked his knee up. Like that's the only issue when it comes with this crossover thing. That's the scary part. But that's the nature of this sport. These ankle locks, these knee locks, all this other stuff. But it's like, are the UFC guys and these other fighters, are they too? Is it the fact that the move is so good and so quick that they don't have a chance to tap, or is it a matter of pride gets in there like, I can get out of this. And the next thing you know,
I think it's a little bit of both.
You have an injury. It's probably a little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both, yeah.
Because you don't want to be that UFC guy or the UFC gal that
especially when it comes to the leg locks, where like the grappling specialists are.
Because you don't know until it's already fucked up.
Yeah,
right?
the grappling specialists are so good at those that man, it happens in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? And like you're not used to it being torqued that fast because the skill level.
Fucking hard.
Oh yeah, you can completely scripted.
I would just tap her arm. I'm like, bro, I can't feel this until it's done. I'm like, they just wrap their arm around me. I'm like, tapping, done.
So true. A lot of good grappling coming up. I'll be watching it starting with Thursday night. All right, Amanda Lemos versus Angela Hill. A big matchup there. Amanda Lemos. This to me, this is where we find out if she's the real deal, right? She's got this great win streak going. She's got these first-round finishes. You know,
God, I'm dying to know your picks.
When
are you going to put your picks in? Are you going to give a little clue to the
tonight.
To
I got to send them tonight. I think I got to send them tonight.
Well, break it down, but I want you to. You got to give me one of the fights. You can't just make me wait till tomorrow. I want you to pick pick one of the fights that's like a toss-up that you think you want to pick. I'm interested to see who you would pick in this Lemos one, but if I'm only going to get one fight from you, it could be a different one. But
no, I mean Lemos is a big favorite according to the odds makers. Big favorite, and I think I am. I think she is the real deal. I honestly do think she is the real deal. But I think this is going to be the one where she proves it for sure. But I like Angela Hill. You know, look, and again, I'm not discounting Angela Hill.
Yeah.
Angela Hill, I think stylistically, as she said, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to strike. I'm not afraid to get hit. I'm going to mix it up. She's like, yes, she's had some impressive finishes, but it hasn't been against the elite of the division, and all those are very legitimate questions. So
she's so fast and so powerful. Like Angela Hill, like watching her when she's on is so fantastic to watch her move. She's just so quick and so at ease, you know, that she's like when Conor, like a lot of times when Conor was smaller, not the current light heavyweight version of him, he generated so much power with his speed and his quickness, and that was like Angela. She's able to generate a lot of speed and a lot of power because she's so quick. But, her record doesn't reflect, I think, how good that she actually is. I think it's just a matter she's just running into absolutely incredible opponents on the other side, I think she has every capability to win this fight.
And she even said, she hasn't always necessarily strung everything together well, or she gets in spots and she doesn't work well. But athletically and skill-wise and her ability to scrap, you're absolutely right, man.
And her hair is fantastic.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you have to braid that stuff for fights, but, man, looked amazing
I like
today.
how she was picking that shit out a little bit. I was like, God damn, that shit looks good. She's so fucking hot.
She's like, sit down, Sean O'Malley.
I don't need to color my shit. My shit's beautiful.
So true. So I did go Lemos from now on. Rafael Sunsao versus Ricky Simone. I say I'm going Ricky Simone in that one. I'll go Ricky Simone in that one. Sunsao, to me, obviously, a guy that's been doing it forever. A guy that says he's re-energized now. You admitted, this last year was tough for him. But man, it's just tough at this point. He's one of us old guys.
Yeah.
He's one of us
Is
old
it the bigger guy
now.
coming down on a streak that you're kind of leaning towards? I mean, Tapology still lists him as a featherweight. Simone is powerful. He's super, super powerful. But we've seen him sort of break down when the pressure's been there in time.
I feel like he's got that confidence flowing in. I feel like he's kind of the younger, more active, faster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel like he's maybe going to be able to.
He's 29.
To outwork him,
Where's Rafael coming?
He's got to be 38, 39 at this point.
39. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
And
as much as we try to say,
coming off severe injuries.
That's the thing that always gets me, and I always mess up, is that I still always want to go back to my memory of a fighter and what they've been able to do. And you stop looking at the little details. Same with like Jacare. Jacare for me forever, I was like, I will never pick against Jacare. And now you see an older Jacare that's lost.
You're like, when did that happen?
You're like, when all of a sudden did he get old? Not that his old is like my old, where I feel bad walking to the fucking bathroom here. Like he's doing high-level jiu-jitsu and mixed martial arts. But that's crazy. I didn't look at the age difference. That's big. 10 years. I mean, that's not as easy to just sort of like say, oh, okay,
That's big.
It's just a number. That's a big number, man. That's a big, big number.
Here's the other one.
He's got mullet power.
He does have mullet power. Here's the other one that's tough. Mateusz Gamrot versus Diego Ferreira. Ferreira, the more proven commodity in the UFC, but Mateusz has that insane record.
Yeah.
After the initial setback against a guy, by the way, that I rate, that I think is a talented fighter. Just went out and absolutely demolished Jeremy Stevens last time out. 19-1 is insane.
Yeah, nobody demolishes Jeremy Stevens, man.
Diego Ferreira, though, a guy that I think has been consistently underrated throughout his career. a guy that I've always been interested in. He does. We've talked about today the 9-hour drive back and forth between the RGV and Dallas to train.
Yeah.
But
he's got safe power.
He does have safe.
You got that safe corner, man. Like I will go on the record and say Safe's got. He's a bit of a trump card at times. When you are down and out, there's nothing like a dude yelling you and saying what he needs to say. But maybe that's me homering as well. That'll only go so far because we've seen some of his fighters recently lose. But I hate to admit that. But dude, this is a really, really good fight, and it's like another one where it's like two guys that are very, very nice guys.
Yep.
This whole card, you don't see any, there's no the personalities that you're just like, oh, man, so-and-so, man, he's a real D-bag. I hope so-and-so gets him. This card
Not that we would ever say that about anybody. We're professionals.
Yeah. As we drink another beer. This is a card of, good people. It's tough, man, and you're in a tougher spot because the picks are now getting down the wire where it's I'm way too often swayed by my personal feels of a fighter and how I actually like how they carry themselves. If they're a good person, I'd more rather pick the good person than the guy that's just the shit talker if the skills are sort of equal. This is a tough one. But man, you got the safe, trump card. I'm like, damn. I got a homer, even though you haven't homered a couple times this year. So don't let me sway you. If you're not feeling it, don't homer. Bring the trophy home for the MMA Roadshow. Don't let me homer it.
No.
Bring it home. Pick the smartest one. Diego, I think one of the great things about him, do you feel confident that in this fight he can carry that durability and that speed and that power all the way through if he doesn't have his way right from the get-go, or is he going to wear down?
I think his durability is there, and I think that, I love his heart. I love his scrambling. I love his, just kind of ability to make it a fight. But, and Matau said it today. He's like, he's got good jiu-jitsu. No question about it. He's like, but I got that new school jiu-jitsu. You know what I mean? We're sitting here talking about grapplers and about, the evolution of it.
Man.
I know. And he's like, now if Diego can keep it on the feet.
And hurt him.
Yeah. Now
but
we're
we
talking.
haven't seen anybody hurt him.
I know. I know.
It's so tough. It's funny because I want to call him Mateus, and it's not at all.
No.
But his name is spelled weird.
Don't mispronounce somebody's name throughout their entire career. That would be ridiculous of you.
He goes up there, I'm like, Mateus. He's like, who? Who? My name's Matau, motherfucker. Don't make me come over and wrap you into a pretzel, motherfucker.
What is it about these slick-ass grapplers and their glasses, right? Charles Oliveira got them glasses. Matau's got them glasses.
It's funny. When I was younger, everybody used to always joke about glasses, and they would say, "Oh, they look nerdy." Whatever. I think glasses are super attractive and sexy now. Not that I'm saying.
And you thought that after these past two UFC events?
I look at Matau, I'm like, my God, he's got glasses on. No, but I just think people give glasses a rough, I don't know, play. If you have glasses and you're rocking it, fucking rock it. I think glasses are attractive.
By the way, folks, this is the COVID-19 talking. Please excuse cold coffee. The COVID-19 is definitely that. In fact, that right there that qualifies as a positive test. Right, just that last statement alone. We now know.
So you don't like the glasses?
Cold coffee. No, I just something I've never even thought of.
They're sexy.
Sir, I'm a married man. I don't allow myself to have a wandering
guy.
Go home,
take some random sunglasses, put them on your girl, and just look at her and be like, oh, yeah. And then do that weird Simba thing that everybody's doing on TikTok. Have you seen that?
What is it?
It's so weird. They take, some, goo or something, and they walk up to them, and they spread it on their forehead, and they're like, Simba. It's a weird TikTok thing. I don't know.
You're on TikTok?
I look at it. Well, no, most of the TikToks go on Instagram. So I see it on Instagram.
I don't even know you anymore.
It's not me talking. This is the COVID. It's the COVID worm that loves glasses and Simba.
Who knew? Cold coffee, TikTok enthusiast.
I've been working on my dance routines, man, just for the talk. Just for the talk. That's what the kids call it. That's what the kids call it.
They don't call it for the talk, do they? It's not.
Obviously, I'm not on the talk, I guess. Is it on the tick? That sounds even worse.
I'm doing it for the talk.
I'm doing it for the talk.
It's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. Oh my god,
it's funny.
All right, listen. All right, last one of the main card: Cub Swanson versus Darren Elkins. I'll be honest. I think I'm leaning Cub in this one, but you can never count Darren Elkins out of a fight. He's one of those guys. It doesn't matter who you're competing against.
He was so funny today. He said probably the funniest line that he didn't even mean to be funny. And if you guys didn't hear it, there was a point where you asked him about bleeding and about just like, what his fights always go. And he was like, I'm pretty sure when I go in there and I walk across and I look across the octagon, when I see my opponent, I'm pretty sure I'm going to start bleeding. At that point,
It was good.
dude, I about rolled. I was like, that was the best fucking line. I don't know if he's made that joke before. If he has and I never heard it.
If it was just off the cuff, it was pretty solid.
It was the best.
It was pretty
I was like,
solid.
I fucking love this.
So it was
dude.
funny. So basically, when talking to Cub, and Cub was very open and honest and introspective as he always is, talking about where he stands. But he even admitted, he was like, I'll be disappointed if I don't make him bleed. And I told Cub, I was like, I'm pretty sure he'll be disappointed if he doesn't bleed. Like, I think that's what Darren just likes to do. So when Darren was there, I just kind of asked him. I was like, well, this is what I said earlier. I'm like, was I right? And he was like, bro, he's going to look at me and I'm going to start bleeding.
I'm going to bleed.
It was pretty funny.
Oh, that's so good. Darren's awesome, man. What a unique character, man. When the day comes when characters like Darren aren't around, I think people will feel the void of his personality and his fight style.
Yep.
He's always 110% forward. He's willing to take as much damage as possible. This is not what you want as like a coach or a loved one or whatever. But Darren's always gives us what we want, and the day when he stops fighting will be a sad, sad day. I love his fucking tattoo on his chest and everything. It's just so
crazy.
So bizarre.
I remember when he put that in.
Now, if he
like,
had
what?
glasses on, I would just, I'd probably just blow a load right there.
Oh, my God. It's the COVID talking. It's the COVID talking. Yeah, listen.
Oh, that's good shit.
Final UFC event of the year, loaded prelim card as well. It's going to be a full night. Was interesting to note that, and I saw somebody report it earlier, but it's on our about sheet as well, that Raquel Pennington versus Macy Chiasson, both ranked women's bantamweight fighters, is actually taking place at featherweight. So I'm not sure exactly if what happened there, if one of them requested it, or what the matchup was there about.
Chiasson.
Maybe it's. Yeah, let's be honest. It was
she
probably
had issues last time. Raquel doesn't have issues. She makes it.
I wouldn't think so. Or hell, maybe
knows?
this is.
When we saw,
I can't say it's. I was
it's
gonna
the
say
Paulo Costa rule, where he's like, just if you let me fight heavier, I will give you a better show. That's it. It's the Paulo Costa rule.
I was wondering if maybe it had anything to do with
I guess that's 2 weight classes up.
They're gonna come in and fight at women's welterweight, which is. I was wondering if maybe, I can't imagine the UFC had anything to do with it because, I was thinking like maybe like the UFC was like, well, do y'all want to fight 45 just so we have 45 matchups happening? But
yeah.
I bet it was one of them. I'm just, again,
I agree, but
I'm
that
just
does
guessing.
make sense
I'm
when
just
you
guessing.
say that. That does actually make sense. I mean, like the fact that now the possibility that the 45 belt, the queen has been beaten.
Yep.
If there is the possibility of having that belt back up for, demand, you need to have a division. You need to have people. And as much as we've said or made our peace with the fact that if the 45 division goes away, we're like, okay, that's cool. But it's like, that kind of sucks. We want to have divisions so fighters at different weight classes can actually fight. And it'd be great if they can then the next logical, because it's going to be hard to get rid of featherweight and then maybe try to do a lightweight. You can't have lightweight and then jump down to bantamweight. That doesn't make any damn sense, And eventually, I think the lightweight division should be there for the women. But this is the first step. I mean, you got to keep that featherweight division.
What's your
viable.
What's your gut instinct on Kayla? Because I see and why I asked
as for where she's going to go.
Yeah, look, obviously I'm a Kayla Harrison fan, man. I think she's legit,
fantastic.
But you see this little back and forth she's having with Pena.
Yeah.
Where Pena and I wonder. And look, Juliana Pena. I'm sure she threw that out there as a little bait the other day. When she said she's been fighting in the beat.
Money in the bag.
Money. It's money. She threw it out. She knew exactly what she was doing.
Kayla would smash
So she
her.
threw it out there. I know.
Is that a hot take?
Too.
Is that a hot take
Nah,
right from
I
the
don't
get-go?
think so.
While I think Juliana has good wrestling, has good ground game, it's not the level. I mean, I was ready to say that Amanda is not ready to take when it gets into there. I mean, these two have been training like Kayla's the future. she is literally the future. She's going to just women handle people. I mean, and if her and Pena meet up, she's going to fucking smash her. She's going to smash her. I mean, it's not like what we saw when it was who was the boxer that just fought recently?
Clarissa Shields.
Kayla she's gotten her reps in, man. She's fucking amazing. She's dangerous.
The idea when people said like they should fight, I always said that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But, so here's what. So look, there's money on the table for Kayla Harrison, no question about it. PFL wants to pay her to stay. Bellator wants her to come over. UFC's not going to get her cheap. They're going to have to pay for her. Now, I'm not saying Conor McGregor money, but they're going to have to pay for it.
Yep.
Is it worth paying her to come fight Juliana Pena, or was it only worth paying if she was fighting Amanda Nunes?
I think so. Because I think
you think it's still worth it?
I mean, I think when it was I think when it was when it was Amanda, it was worth it.
Right.
At this point, all you're doing is recreating the current situation.
Right.
You got a champ that no one can beat, and then how do you have a division that's based around it? You know,
right.
I mean, I think if anything else, I wouldn't mind if she goes back to PFL and just gets another easy. Well, I don't want to say easy million, but those things are super easy for her. Bellator, she has more opportunity, I think, to fight maybe challengers, but I think she would still run through Bellator. The only organization that has a chance of providing a somewhat challenge, and this is me just sticking my foot possibly in my mouth, is that even the UFC, I think she's gonna wreck shop. She's gonna absolutely wreck shop. So any other organization she goes to, she should just be happy that she's getting a huge paycheck, and the time's gonna go. She's still. It's not like when we were looking at Cyborg and it was like, man, Cyborg. It's when Cyborg's become depleted that others are going to start beating her when she's doing it.
Right.
Kayla's on her way up, you know. I mean, she hasn't taken all the crazy damage that all these other, and her judo and her ground game is so leaps and bounds above. And what I liked about that last fight was that she was willing to stand and trade with people. Now, is that smart against the top level? Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I mean, I was surprised, and I'll be the first to admit, man, I was so wrong when it came to Amanda and Juliana striking. I thought Juliana had nothing for her. I thought Amanda was just going to smash her, and I'll be the first to say I was so wrong. She took every bit of the punishment and gave it back. But the thing with Kayla's not going to get...
It wasn't pretty, but it was effective.
And Kayla's not going to say, like, let's make this a striking match. For some reason, Amanda wanted it to stay striking. You know, like, the only time she went in there and initiated a grab was when she was hurt. I was like, you have a decent person that's good on the ground and decent with grappling, and you're only going to engage after you've been hurt? Like, It's not a smart plan. I think there was a point where you could see it in her face after she took some shots that the light kind of went out a little bit. There was doubt that creeped in, and Juliana was like, nothing's going to stop me at this point, you know. She's like, I birthed a child. I felt pain.
Wow.
She said that.
I know.
And she even said it. She was like, and it was kind of like a weird mom slight.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She said it, but I think everybody at this point has been like, that was kind of weird of you to say.
But it was weird. But it was like, for her, she was like, I didn't just have somebody else birth my kid. Like, I pushed it out, you know. But she's tough as nails, man. But Kayla right now, I maybe I'm just a homer on that. I would put Kayla against anybody at this point right now. So whoever is willing to pay the amount of money, but you got to do it smart. If the UFC brings her in and she literally demolishes the featherweights, if that's what she comes in at, I mean, I know she's typically fighting heavier. What is that different than what she has right now with Amanda? Like, you have a division that nobody can fight in because there's no talent. You know, might as well get four fights out of her if the money is decent in Bellator or PFL, you know. I mean, and every time she gets another win, her star rises, and she could ask for even more money when she comes over. So I could see her going to Bellator or going to PFL, get that another championship, or going to Bellator and just wrecking shop, beating Cyborg, and then coming back to Dana and say, you need to give me the largest signing bonus that's ever happened in the UFC, and he'll make it happen. How crazy is that? Conor didn't come in with a huge, crazy signing bonus. Conor built himself up. But I could see Kayla coming in and making that be the big PR push, is that she has the largest signing bonus of any fighter that comes into the UFC because she come in at such a hot level. And they'll pay it because at that point, if she's wreck shop for another year in another division, she's beat Cyborg, give her everything.
And that's headlines, right? I mean, you make that public,
sure.
right? You make it public.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Of course you do. Because then everybody's like, who's this person that just they signed her for more than what they signed Conor for. They don't realize Conor had to build himself up.
Right.
Conor didn't start a superstar. Conor, that's the great thing about Conor's story, is that he built himself up from nothing. He pulled himself up. She's at a point where she's like, buy me. Bring me in at what I need to get, And when it happens, man, they'll make a complete spectacle of it because you have to. Because then you're getting your money's worth because you're paying. That's an advertising play, at that point. So
I dig it. All right, well, listen.
I went awful long. That's COVID speaking.
I like it. See,
speaking.
the COVID has positives, the COVID has negatives.
I haven't lost track because of the boobs yet. Like, that was really, really weird. Last time I lost my chain of thought because of boobs. Which, I mean, if there's anything to lose your chain of thought, like,
that's it.
And they were glorious.
I'm just owning it. I know.
All right, that's COVID making jokes, not me.
Turning over Fight Week to you and the young Mike Bond. You guys will have full UFC Fight Night 199 coverage. I am, or maybe not. Maybe you'll be at home for the next 3 days.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
We're going to find out tomorrow.
Fingers crossed, I'm going to feel great tomorrow.
We're going to find out tomorrow. I am jumping on a plane at 7 a.m. to head out to Philadelphia, and then from there out to Atlantic City. For CFFC 104, so please do me a favor, tune in on UFC Fight Pass Friday night for that. I'll fly back on Saturday.
With your boy CM.
My boy CM Punk, and then Saturday night we'll do the and a half episode after.
You ever guys just talk wrestling? Do you ever just like tell him to like fill you in on shit?
No, we do actually. No, he's actually taught me a lot, man. I've when we're like hanging out, like having dinner or something like that, just whatever, I'll be like.
Dude,
kind of bring up certain
top
things.
Of the world. He was like the big. Well, I don't know. Maybe wrestling people tell me I'm stupid. He was like the pinnacle.
Well,
right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about shot wrestling, but it was actually kind of cool. Like, now I'm gonna sound as stupid as I am, but like.
Did he have glasses?
When they had like the anniversary of the pipe bomb or whatever, where he spoke against WWE or whatever. That was it. Anyway, that's what it was called.
Shit.
Anyway, it was like him speaking out against Vince and the WWE, and it was like, it was like part scripted but part not.
Did a fucking pipe bomb on the show?
No, it's just what it was called.
Oh, okay. I was like, dude, that's pretty shitty. All right. Obviously, I don't watch enough.
It was a speech,
okay.
But I don't know. So it was kind of cool to talk to him about that because I watched it. It was like the anniversary of it. Like even like SportsCenter was tweeting about it and stuff. And I was like, I watched it and I was like, man, this is cool. Like he's so good on the mic. And then like
it
is kind of funny to be able to like. And I'm sure there's like real pro wrestling fans
that
are like
learning from you.
I'm sure.
Just watching you.
I'm sure there are real pro wrestling fans like I hate you, John Morgan, because it would be like my dream to talk to CM Punk, and I'm just like
haters.
So, dude, tell me about this pipe bomb thing. What was that about?
Haters.
You remember that time you did that? That was cool. You know what I mean?
What were you feeling when you beat the one guy in that one episode when it was like the storylines were this and that and blah, blah, blah? Haterade.
It's fun to get to hear him talk about it. Now, like, it's been crazy. Like he wrestled a dude recently that was like he took a picture with as a little kid.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's just cool stuff, man. So yeah, I'm
so
still
happy
not
for him, man. Good for him.
No, I am too, man. CM Punk. I know that a lot of people. Oh, UFC this, that. CM Punk is a good dude, man.
I mean, he carries the broadcast. Yeah. So I mean, luckily you have him around to help carry it.
I mean, thank God for him. I wouldn't have a job.
I'm
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Rob, good job
carrying the dead weight that I am. All right. Anyway, listen.
Does he have glasses on?
So ridiculous. CFFC 104 Friday night, UFC Fight Night 199. MMA Junkie will have you covered there. I'm going to take a couple days off and enjoy that. And, of course, Christmas is next week. So most podcasts that you listen to, obviously they're going to be like, hey, get ready for our best of edition next week.
No.
Not the MMA Roadshow. Why? Because we don't have enough best of over 350 episodes to put together.
It'd be the worst of.
I mean, the worst
of.
Like,
we just start with New Orleans and then just work our way
maybe
from there.
Throwing a little Scotland in there or something like that. We got all kinds of stuff. But yeah, we'll come at you with fresh content plus and a half. Patreon.com/the MMA Roadshow. In the meantime, I got to go. I got a flight that leaves. I got a flight that leaves in like 12 hours. I haven't even started packing yet, so I probably should go do that.
I think as a call to action, everybody should send me pictures of their girlfriend and their women with glasses.
That is so bizarre.
That wasn't me. That was the COVID.
The COVID is talking.
Yeah, it's like a parasite. It's just controlling my mouth.
What would you use those pictures for? Just out of curiosity.
Just to put on the site.
Oh, just like just build a gallery.
Yeah, I'm like hey, look at the fun listeners. Our listeners have hot chicks with glasses.
For most people, I'm going to hope you've turned it off at this point. But if you haven't, let me just say, I feel sorry for you. But thanks for listening. Peace.